Hello stars, my name is Blue, and today we are lost in Pestequest Part 2! We are gonna do Rose now! Everybody's out. I'm so behind. I'm so behind on everything. Okay. Something beyond the sky. On the advice of your new friend John, you go and visit one of his close comrades. Close only figuratively speaking, since it seems she lives all the way on the other side of the country. That's no problem for you, though, since your new powers let you hop anywhere, anytime, even to places that don't exist. Well, you think your powers let you do that. You just have this distinct metatextual feeling that you could pretty much go anywhere at this point. You know, that doesn't make any sense. There's nothing that doesn't make sense about your friendship, though, and that's exactly what you're about to do. Friendship, that is. You're about to do some friendship by making a new friend. And her name is, you check your notes, Rose. This is her house, apparently. Looks kind of weird and modern, and it's situated in the middle of the woods for no good reason you can think of. Seclusion from other humans. That's a good reason in my book. Also, it's pouring rain, which is not what you would describe as an ideal friend-making conditions. I don't know what you're talking about, MC. Still, nothing stops a mailman, not from delivering mail, nor making friends. Rather famously, rain and other similar weather patterns provide no deterrent to the performance of his duty. And there is no duty more important than friendship. Suddenly, a woodland girl approaches. Who goes there? Oh, it's your new friend Rose, obviously. There's literally no one else this could be. You introduce yourself. You're the cool man who John told her to expect a visit from soon. You would doff your mail hat to signal a friendly greeting, except recently you accidentally dropped it in the sewer, along with all your other mail-specific clothes, as well as all the mail you were supposed to deliver, as you explained to her gratuitously, in an unconvincing manner. It's not a great start, you admit, but you've done much worse. You're not a mailman. Yikes. You are busted almost immediately. You briefly consider whether you should double down on the lie or try to say something mailman-like, or whether the right call is to come clean since she's clearly too smart for amateur bullshit. But it's taking a few seconds too long for you to decide, which looks guilty as hell. That's it. The jig is up. You slouch in defeat. You ask her if she would please consider not telling John. Your heart couldn't take it if you found out your entire friendship was based on a lie. You want me to keep a secret from one of my best friends to protect the feelings of a random buffoon who I've never met and arbitrarily showed up to my house in the remote wilderness like a creep? Yes. Yes. That's what you want. It's an interesting proposition, if for no other reason than its audacity. I admire your resolve and a faith of humiliation. This doesn't mean we're friends, though. Oof, rough. Well, that's fine. You're hopeful, your mind is fuzzy, but you think you remember this. You're good at this. You're excellent at making people like you, though, through underhanded means. You can't... You can't wait to take advantage of this 13-year-old girl's goodwill. Oh my god. Okay, well, not like that. Let's not be fucking weird. In fact, let that be the last creepy thought you have for commercial purposes, as great jokes only. Let's all get our brains out of the gutter. Rose raises a thin brow. The music is loud. Yeah, that's better. Maybe a little lower. Okay. Rose raises a thin brow. There's something unsettling about her deep violet eyes. Toby, could you not right now? But you're pretty sure most humans don't have eyes like that, but what the fuck do you know? You're a stranger around these parts. Wait, aren't you a human too? Whatever. It's not a big deal. Not when there's friends to be made. Or something. Or something indeed. Do you want to come inside? Unless I'm interrupting your internal monologue, of course. Far be it from me ever to cut short any sort of navel-gazing sidebar. It's just ever so slightly wet out here. You would absolutely love that, if it's not too much trouble, of course. You wouldn't want to pit Rose out. You're lying, though. You're 100% fine being absolutely infuriatingly obnoxious if it means making a friend. Rose purses her lips, considering. You're... Rose, I love you, but sometimes you use words that I know, but I can't read. Your predilections towards mailman mimicry weren't all that John told me about. Oh? He also said that you had certain powers? Powers of teleportation and time travel. I told him that he must be mistaken, since it's a well-known and accepted fact that magic, although a popular and highly engaging subject of fiction, is fake as hell. Oh, your zappy powers? No, those are totally real and not fake. Real in a different way than you being a mailman is real, since that is actually made up. Is that so? Prove it. You shrug. Easy enough. You hold out a hand, and after a moment of hesitation, Rose puts her fingers in yours. Her nails are long and sharp and painted glossy black. She closes her eyes and her umbrella droops. Should I picture my room or something similar? I'm not quite sure how this is supposed to work. Still, she still thinks you're fucking with her. You tell her that you guess she can do that, if she wants. You zap the two of you inside the big modern house. When you open your eyes, you found yourself in a large, messy bedroom. Cthulhu. I love Rose's room so much. Oh! She drops her umbrella. You really did that. Rose stands in the center of her room in full rain gear. Her boots track muddy prints into the thick white carpet. Surprise! You really are magic. Rose put a small hand against her perfectly painted black lips. She seems momentarily lost for words, and you get the feeling that it is not a thing that happens very often. Her eyes are wide and deeply purple. They're sparkling, you might even say. Hold on, I'll be right back. Stay here, don't go out into the hall. It's not safe. You tell Rose to take her time. You're happy to just stand here, dripping onto her nice clean floor. She leaves the room, and you take the opportunity to examine your surroundings a little more closely. The bed is unmade, books are strewn over the floor carelessly, and a collection of half-drunk cups of coffee crowd the desk. Half-finished knitting projects lie in soft piles all over the room. In fact, there's a lot of evidence that this room is often occupied by someone with a lot of interest who has trouble settling down and putting her attention at one thing at a time. Me too. Man, you relate. Not with interest, but with friends. You can't imagine settling for just one. Rose has a number of posters on her wall, although nowhere near as many as your friend John. A calendar that hangs beside a window, days ticked off with little X's all the way up to 4/13, which is circled. You step closer to read the year date up in the corner, 2009. But what the hell do you care about the date? You can make friends any day of the damn week, rain or shine, night or day. Rose is sure taking a while out there. She told you that it wasn't safe in the hall. Maybe she hadn't just been quipping. Maybe she's actually in trouble. What should you do? We're gonna be a good kid, and we're gonna stay put. Your patience pays off almost at once. Rose is back and looking significantly more put together. Also, she brought you a towel. Here. I'm not overly attached to anything in here. It's mostly just childish nonsense I haven't yet bothered to rid myself of. But I'd appreciate it if you tried not to drip over on any of the notebooks. She has changed out of her raincoat and books, and she's dressed in a neat black skirt and a white shirt with a purple blob thing with tentacles. What is it with these kids and their blob shirts? Now that that's dealt with, please, sit down. She crosses her legs and you suddenly feel like you're at a job interview. Friend interview? Which you wish you were a little less damp. Actually, let's switch places. You're still pretty wet. You don't want to get her bedspread messed up. Don't worry about it. That's what washing machine... Don't worry about it. That's what washing machines are for. Now, let's talk about magic. Which, up until now, I have always taken for granted as something being confined to storybooks. Rose takes a wistful look toward her bedroom window, grayed over and blurry with raindrops. You get the feeling that she's doing it for effect. Maybe that's why she wanted you to switch places with her. And then comes you, the not a mailman with a penchant for showing up and attempting to make friends with unwitting children. Well, fair, she's got you there, but honestly, she might be a child, but she really doesn't seem to be unwitting. On the contrary, she's quite witty. I'm glad you noticed. She folds her hands and clears her throat. You think that if she had any notes, she would be shuffling them. And so, the question remains, are you a good witch? Are you a bad witch? Are you a wizard? We've already established that you're not a public servant. Is there a difference between a witch and a wizard? Of course there is! But exactly how specific of a difference can vary. According to some works of fiction, a wizard is just a witch's male counterpart. But in certain mythologies, for instance Arthurian legend, the difference appears to be class-based. Wizards reside at a court and are classically trained, while witches are self-taught and run wild through the forest. I won't deny that those differences tend to often be gendered as well. You ask her which one she is, a witch or a wizard. Me? Rose shifts, uncrossing and recrossing her legs. You shrug and say she seems to know a lot about them. I know a thing or two. But, can I tell you a secret? Oh my god. Oh my god, Rose. She has no idea how much you would love to hear her secret. I find them, wizards, I mean, utterly reprehensible. They disgust me. Everything from their floppish robes to their grizzled beards. It's my mother who is the wizard enthusiast in this house. Although, she glances from side to side theatrically. Most of the things Rose does seem to be at least a little bit theatrical. She kneels on the carpet beside the clutter of books. I don't show these to many people. Actually, I haven't shown them to anyone. Not even John? John seems pretty good... Nah. I was doing so well. John seems to be a pretty cool guy. Definitely a guy worth sharing a few secret notebooks with. Rose laughs. No, I haven't shown them to John. And I've only shown Strider to punish him. You nod, pretending that you know who this Strider person is. You're a totally normal dude with absolutely ungodly number of friends. A shadow moves, though, through the center of you, a trembling moment of deja vu. You do have a lot of friends, don't you? That feels true. But the only person you know here are John and now Rose. Weird. You try to put it from your mind and listen to Rose again. She's still talking about this mysterious Strider, flipping through one of the journals too quickly for you to see anything specific. Only that it's full from cover to cover. As if my modest writings are the sole source of homoerotic tension in his life, when his brother is the one who insists on filling their homes with all sorts of but for ironic purposes. Rose rolls her eyes. Oh boy, you missed the beginning of that. It probably made more sense than it seemed like. Rose is searching through her notebooks, checking markings on the spine that seem to be some sort of cataloging system of arcane symbols. Oh, right. She does something quick and complex with her fingers, and another notebook pops into existence and falls into her lap. You gape. She really is a wizard! What? It's just a Solidux. A child could use one. Here. This notebook has a couple of drawings in it, but most of it is filled with small, neat handwriting and lavender ink. Is Rose writing a book? No, don't be silly. I'm writing 4 books, at least. Okay, but why is that me? 5, depending on whether or not I decide to flesh out Calamus' backstory. It isn't strictly necessary, but it does add a certain amount of valuable character insight, which renders their actions in later volumes more sympathetic. Not that I need all of my anti-heroes to be sympathetic. I'm just thinking of what the literary reviewers would say. You nod. Smart. You would have never thought of what the literary reviewers would say. She's honestly pretty impressive for someone her age. Age has nothing to do with it. But don't get carried away. It's only a rough draft. You ask her if you can take a look. She hesitates, but you doubt she would have shown you if she didn't want you to look. What the hell? If you can't trust a strange spiritual imprint you met outside in the rain, who can you trust? Right. Your thoughts exactly. Rose hands you the notebook and you open it at random, letting fate guide your hands. Frigolishly bothered his beard, as if unkinking a hinge in his long silk windsock. A more pedestrian audience. That is not how you say that word. Audience would have paused and exhibit as a nervous compulsion. Behavior to petition contempt among the reasonable. He, however, was not surrounded by the reasonable, but the wise. A distinction in men that would forever be the difference in history's garland of treasure follies. As a matter of fact, his cadre of fellow wizards were all putting similar moves on their beards as well. I'm very distracted by the scrolling text. A practice would evince thoughtfulness, sagacity, even. Sagacity? If he didn't do it all the time, standing in the line at the bank, shooing the squirrels and from bird feeders, few occasions were safe. Zazarpan expected the clue, a single piece of evidence cradled in his courageous old man palms. It was a human bone, not striking until it told alone as much as that told by the thousands like it, festooning the marshy soil of a mass grave. The grisly expanse bore the texture of a decadent dessert, like one of Marnie's formidable custard truffles wobbled out in wheels for the holidays, to the dismay of a small nation. You're certain of this? Asked Friglish. Despite what he was doing with his beard, he was, in fact, immersed in meaningful contemplation. I'm afraid I'm becoming more so with each terrible roused by that gaudy timepiece slung around your neck. In case it wasn't clear, Friglish wore a clock Zazarpan didn't care for. It was magic. The massacre of Sayre's Nilf was not as written. Wow, this is pretty dense, but smart. You stroke your own imaginary beard, pretending to ponder the deeper meaning. Yes, intriguing. Zazarpan and Friglish. Clearly, there's some history there. Yes, clearly. But the two of them shared what went beyond simple romance. That's why it has gone so spectacularly sour. Rose becomes increasingly more animated as she tells you about her gay wizard OCs, like she is far more interested in them than she is in herself. They share an intellectual bond, a mutual dedication to knowledge and the preservation of such. The goal of the learned is to amass their wisdom and keep it from the general dissemination into the main populace of wizards. They feed it to their apprentices in drips and drabs. Of course, this will eventually lead to ruin. Of course, you flip further in the book, searching for a part where it leads to ruin. Ruin sounds interesting. More scrolling text! Zazarpan knew he... Oh, wait. Zazarpan knew he would see his wayward apprentice again. Knew it like he knew the tide would turn and the sun would blaze to its zenith. As each inexorable day passed. Now they still stood diametrically opposed across the overgrown chessboard. His apprentice's eyes were hidden behind dark glasses, but Sazerpin knew that if he could see them, they would be riddled with the madness of the void. Clemaeus wasn't there for justice, or for revenge. They were here exclusively, I can't speak right now, because Sazerpin had something they wanted. Something they were owed. You flipped through the notebook, checking out the drawings. There were a lot of wizards, each more bearded and venerable than the last. One of the pictures, the most recent maybe, since it's on the very last page of the journal, is of two young wizards. Twins, maybe. They have gray hair and wearing slick green suits, and are standing back to back with their arms intertwined, staring into the middle distance. It's very anime. You compliment Rose on her artistic prowess. Yes, thank you. They're alright. I'm a much better writer than I am an artist. You tell her that you think she's really good. Way better than you. You're absolutely positive she's going to be famous one day. I appreciate the encouragement, even though I know you're just trying to flatter me, due to your strange thirst for affirmative experiences. John told me all about that. Damn, busted. But you really do think she's talented. It's fine. It's not as if my social calendar is overfull out here in the middle of the woods. Don't tell anyone I said that. I don't have many friends. And don't tell them I've been drawing. He'd be insufferable. He? Never mind. You assure Rose that her secrets are safe, and you hand back her journal. You're really excited about your new friend, if you might be so bold, and her wizard stories, although... Wait. Hadn't she said that she hated wizards? What's your point? Well, you're no experts on wizards, or on Rose, but it seems like she actually does seem to like them, because she has several notebooks full of wizard fiction. You aren't trying to get, like, real here, but maybe it's possible her mom isn't the only one in the family who likes wizards. Rose pulls her hand out of your book. No. That is not. Rose pulls her book out of your hands. That and the rest of the books vanish into the air. Thin air. Alright, that must have been that. What had she called it? Solidex? She doesn't look angry exactly, but the lines around her mouth and eyes that softened as she talked about her book have hardened back up. Her eyes glitter menacingly. Oh, is that right, Frood? Frood? Well, why don't you diagnose me? Oh, hey, wow, you weren't trying to be condescending or whatever, clearly. Were you aware that it is a common psychology phenomenon for an individual to react to trauma by creating fictional representations of that which has caused them bodily harm or emotional dismay? To suggest that the portrayal of this fiction rendering somehow condones them or supports them is absolutely absurd. So what she's saying is that she draws wizards to cope. Rose rises regally onto her feet. The lightning turns her into an ethereal silhouette. What I'm saying is that I don't need to justify my fictional predilections to you or to anyone else. No, she's totally right. You're sorry that you suggested she might like wizards. It was horribly presumptuous and not at all the way a friend should act. You are so sorry. You promise it will never happen again? No, I don't suppose it will. It's probably just because Rose's hair is much more pale and is such a pale blonde, but it almost looks like she's glowing in the dim bedroom. Like light behaves a little differently around her than it does on everything else. Would you look at that? It appears the rain has lightened up a bit. The rain is actually hitting the window so loudly that you're actually having trouble hearing her. And your point is? You can zap yourself out there. You can just zap yourself out to where the weather is drier. Fuck off. Oh no. Bad ending. Let's try again. Go look for her. You're too anxious to sit still, and you aren't the sort of person who just sits there and waits for friend opportunities to fall into their lap. Better to run headlong into danger, or as much danger as a minimalist upper class house in the middle of the woods can offer. Rose has told you that it isn't safe. You creep into the hallway. There's a bunch of things that happen more or less simultaneously, a dolge of quick-time events that you have had no idea were coming. Lightning flashes in a perfect jagged line across the tall window at the end of the hall, followed by an immediate crash of thunder, so loud you think the house might be falling down. Abruptly, all the lights go out. Oh! Another flash of lightning, and for a brief moment, you see a long, thin-figured superimposed against the window. You freak the fuck out, jumping about a foot in the air and yelling like a cat. A small hand lands on your shoulder and you jump again. Calm down, it's just me. Rose speaks in a normal tone of voice, and it's jarring. The house is echoey and cavernous, and there's just something about the dark house on a stormy evening that makes you want to whisper. I told you to stay put for a reason. It's too early for my mother to be sauced enough not to notice random strangers in her house, and I don't want you going through the tedious process of explaining who you are. You have a perfectly understandable reason for you left, and that reason is that you were lonely. Rose snorts. Cold? You were cold? Well, you are soaking wet. Follow me. She grabs you by the wrist and tows you down the hall. You wonder if you should warn her about the strange, wraith-like creature you saw by the window, but you don't want to freak her out. Although, her mom might be at risk too. Whatever. Moms are tough. Should be fine. This probably isn't the first time she's gone toe-to-toe with a weird Slenderman. This house looks haunted as shit. Rose brings you to a dark laundry room, then motions for you to take off your hoodie, which you do, gladly, because it's soaking wet. That's interesting. The design on the front doesn't mean anything. Oh yeah, it's kinda cool. A blue line that zigzags on one end like lightning. Looking at it makes you feel unsettled. You realize Rose is waiting for a response, so you just hand her the hoodie and tell her no. You're pretty sure it's just an abstract sign. Then you stand there while she tosses the sweatshirt into the dryer, feeling the alarming currents of memory in your bloodstream. You're sure there must be something you forgot to do. You continue to feel weird as Rose hits the dryer button, and nothing happens. Fuck. She hits the button a few more times, as if that will make a bit of a difference when the power is out. She presses her thumb and forefinger to the bridge of her nose. Well, you aren't going to fit into anything of mine. She leads you down more long, dark hallways. Man, this house is unreasonably huge. You ask Rose if a lot of people live here. No, it's just me, my mother, and a horde of liquids not soluble in water. Here, try not to drip on the carpet. You aren't sure how you're supposed to manage that, but okay. She does not have a bar in her room. This room is large and dark, and when Rose parts the curtains, a flash of lightning illuminates a four-posted bed, a long counter, and shelf covered head to foot in bottles. Rose vanishes through another door, leaving you to peruse. Yep, this is all liquor. Shit, this is a lot of booze. Here, I'm not sure what you would want to wear, but this should work until the power comes back on, and we can dry your clothes. Rose hands you a long silk robe. She won't miss this. I don't think she's ever even worn it. She has this whole closet full of fantastic clothes that she never puts on. You take the robe and go into the large master bathroom. It's kind of a mess, and the tub looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a long time. The robe gives you the same knotted feeling of familiarity that looking at your hoodie did, but you put it away. It's a relief to get out of your wet clothes. You hang them carefully on the shower rod. When you come back out into the bedroom, you find Rose standing in front of a wall of liquor. She's holding a bottle of Grey Goose and squinting at the label, like she's trying to read the nutrition facts. I've often wondered what, exactly, the merits of consuming this are. It tastes, quite literally, like burning. She opens the bottle before you can protest that she is by no means the legal drinking age in wherever the fuck you are. She puts the bottle to her mouth and takes a sip. She sputters. Blech. That's terrible! You could have told her that. Straight vodka isn't for the uninitiated. Even fancy vodka. I keep skipping dialogue. You take the bottle from her. She hesitates for a moment, then lets go. You set it back on the shelf. This really is, quite an impressive liquor cabinet. Liquor wall? Liquor room? Her mom must have a refined palate. Don't strain yourself. You can say it. What's the point of mincing words? She's a fucking alcoholic. Wow, that is intense. You're not sure if you're prepared for something this heavy. You were kind of counting on some silly shenanigans, maybe a couple of funny jokes. You weren't cut out for this. You get the feeling that at some point you might have been cut out for this. You might have been the sort of person your friends, or potential friends, could count on. In fact, you know on some level that this is true, but whenever you try to nail down any sort of specifics, you find it gaping. Do we have to use fancy words? Hole in your experiences. Gaping mass in your experiences. It's all just white noise. Rosa slowed her slump as she stands surveying her mother's bottles. She doesn't even have the decency to hide her distasteful habits. Who needs an entire wall of liquor bottles? She doesn't have people over. She doesn't have any friends. This is all just for me. Just more of her passive-aggressive act as a femme fatale 1950s housewife with a death wish. Just like all the wizards. Wizards? Don't worry about it. You know how long it's been since I had a home-cooked meal? And I'm not saying that I require or even deserve a lovingly crafted culinary masterpiece every time I sit down to eat. That's going a bit far. I know John complains about being plagued by fatherly concern every chance he gets. He is overwhelmed by pastries even whenever he ventures from his room. I'm glad my mother doesn't poke her considerable nose into my private affairs, but I get sick of eating oatmeal. Rose. I told you, don't worry about it. But you will worry about it. You worry about all your friends. All 2 of them. Rose smiles, with half her mouth. It seems to be all she can manage. Lightning crashes. She looks so small and sad against the wall of bottles. You know how to fix this! Thunder Rose, you clench your fist. A friendship clench. You don't know who you are, you don't know why you're here, but you do know that surely you have these powers for a reason. And what better reason than helping a poor young girl with her troubled home life? Rolling your floppy sleeves, you get to work. What? What are you doing? You start with the dark liquors first. In your experiences, those are the worst hangovers, and are more likely to contribute to the absence of hot motherly meals and overconsumption of oatmeal. You grab 2 bottles of rum and 1 bourbon. You tuck it in your armpit. And you zap out of the house into a clearing in the woods a couple hours ago before it started raining. You drop the bottles and go back for more. Are you stealing all of my mother's liquor? Is this your solution to her alcoholism? Don't worry, Rose. Don't worry, Rose can thank you later. You go for tequila next, then vodka, then you get sick of this organized approach and just grab whatever the fuck and dumping it in the past. Rose watches you do this for a while, then she hops on the counter, crossing her legs and starts texting. Well, she's really so intent in her conversation that she isn't even noticed you fixing her domestic situation. She keeps giving you little fleeting looks that you're pretty sure she must be talking about you. You should just let her talk. This isn't the right... It isn't right to try and invade your friend's privacy. You attempt to resist a temptation, which you fail at immediately. Not even an overused meme can save you. You zap to the corner behind her to the corner where you can spy on her private correspondence. I don't know anything about them, sorry. Sigh. And here was me trying to take advantage of your uncanny ability to make guesses verging on prognostication. I'm recently considering a re-evaluation of magic. You don't know who this person is. Maybe you should just... You go back in time a couple minutes to when Rose started her conversation. Your past self is busily zapping back and forth, carrying liquor bottles. You hunker down so you don't see yourself and cause a paradox or whatever the fuck. Out of morbid curiosity to shine a light on my future, I come with a metaphorical hat in hand to ask you to consult your dream clouds. Do you happen to know anything about a strange cardboard cutout creature masquerading as a mailman? Are you sleeping? Sorry, I had to scold back because he's acting really weird all of a sudden. Anyway, is this the same mailman that John was talking about? The fake one who hung out with him? That's the one. They're currently entering my mother's liquor cabinet in an attempt to prevent her from overindulging herself. Oh, are they drinking it? No, I think they're just dropping it into the woods with their magic powers. Oh, Do they know that she could just go out and buy more liquor? That's something you can do where you live, right? Yes. Well, not exactly where we live. I think the nearest boozery is a good 20-minute drive. I'm not actually entirely sure where my mother got it all. We don't own a car, as far as I know. Sometimes it just seems that she has the ability to make things appear. I don't know anything about them. I'm sorry. And here was me, trying to take advantage of your uncanny ability to make guesses verging on the prognostication, as I am recently considering a re-evaluation of magic. I'm still pretty sure magic is fake. At least, the kinds of magic you're talking about. There's probably some real magic out there somewhere. Yes, for instance, the sort that lets you spy on your hostess's private correspondence while you were stealing her mother's liberations. You freeze. With a contrite zap, you reappear in front of Rose. She sets her phone down and props her chin up on a delicate fist. Sorry, you honestly don't know what got into you. You couldn't resist using your power for evil. Haven't you heard that with great power comes great responsibility? Rose is right. She's totally right. You've only had this power for like a day, so you aren't used to the idea of being able to just zap all over the narrative. Clearly, you did not appreciate the implications. Zapping all over the narrative sounds potentially stressful. Oh, you bet. You are incredibly stressed right now. Rose laughs. You apologize to her for stealing all her mom's drinks. It was kind of overzealous of you. No, actually I thought it was hilarious. I've never really been one for pranks. That's always fallen more into John's wheelhouse. But there's nothing wrong in occasionally stepping outside one's own comfort zone. Let's do the vodka next. The two of you are working together gets the place cleared out pretty quickly. You zap Rose along with you in the bright clearing in the field. For a moment, she just stands in the sunbeam, blinking up at the cloudless sky. Her expression says she still might not be totally convinced any of this is happening. When all the liquor has been transferred from the bedroom into the woods, and a big glittering dragon's hoard of booze, you and Rose fall down next to it in a messy heap. Well, you fall into a messy heap. Rose lures herself daintily, sitting more on her knees than her butt, probably to keep her skirt from getting dirty. You get the idea that even though she lives in the middle of nowhere, she doesn't spend a ton of time outside. You tell her again that you're sorry you spied on her correspondence with her green friend Gigi. Also, you hope she isn't going to get in trouble with her mom. I'm not undoubtedly concerned. I'll tell her where it all is in a couple days. Although by that time, I'm sure at least a good third of it will be water damaged. I'm sure this will have fantastic implications for our relationship, and not at all exacerbate the emotional problems underlying her addiction. You laugh awkwardly. Well, now you kind of just feel like an asshole. Rose lies back on the grass and raises a hand to trace the curves of a fluffy white cloud. She closes her eyes. Perhaps it's just protection on my part, or wishful thinking. But ever since I met you, I feel like something has changed. Or rather, something has failed to change, if that makes any sense. It's probably nothing. Her eyes flicker back open, endlessly purple, fixed on the sky, like she can see something beyond it. And once again, you feel that there's something really crucial you forgot. But at least you've made a new friend. And even if you don't think Rose's brand would ever allow her to call you as such, you're lying in a sunny clearing next to a pile of alcohol, and honestly, it doesn't get much friendlier than that. Victory. That is a nice color purple. A little view into Rose's life, her inner thoughts. Kinda wish I had the powers to jump all over the narrative. I feel like that would make my life so much easier. But yeah, Rose. And the next time I'll do this, I'm pretty sure I think it's Strider. Is it Strider? It's Strider! Next time is a King's Feast of Ass. How fitting. But that's it for today, stars. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already to join our wonderful galaxy. Comment down below and I'll get back to you in some way or another. And I will see you for our next adventure. Remember, we're all made of the same cosmic dust, so be nice. Kate, love you. Bye!